The call came through at 11:45 p.m. on a Friday night while I was shoulder deep in server racks at Memorial Hospital trying to stop a coordinated cyber attack that had already crippled three of the city's biggest medical centers. My phone buzzed against my belt. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. I pulled off my work gloves and checked the screen. Bryce Coleman, my 34-year-old supervisor at Secure Health Systems, calling from his trendy downtown loft while I was here preventing people from dying. I almost didn't answer. When you're managing a security breach that's preventing cancer patients from getting their chemotherapy medications and heart surgery patients from accessing their medical records, phone calls from corporate feel pretty damn insignificant. But I answered anyway because that's what 25 years of being the guy everyone calls when everything goes to hell conditions you to do. Mitchell speaking. Roger, it's Bryce. I need to inform you of a company decision. Effective immediately, we no longer require your services as senior healthcare security architect. Your employment is terminated as of today. I looked at the server console in front of me. Critical alert codes flashing red across 3 hospital networks. Patient medication systems offline. Emergency department computers locked down. Rachel Torres, Memorial's IT director, standing 6 feet away looking at me like I was literally the only person standing between her hospital and complete chaos. Which honestly, I was. My name is Roger Mitchell. I'm 47 years old, and I just got fired while trying to prevent a cyber attack from killing people. The irony wasn't lost on me. At that exact moment, my wife Susan was scheduled to be at home preparing for her Monday morning chemotherapy session at the same hospital whose systems I was trying to save. Her treatment had been delayed twice already because of computer glitches. Now here I was, fixing the very systems that would determine whether she could get her cancer medication on time while my own boss was eliminating the job that provided our health insurance. I understand, I said, keeping my voice level. I'll inform Rachel that you'll be handling the breach response for the crisis I'm currently managing. Silence. Long enough that I thought maybe the call dropped. What crisis? The coordinated cyber attack that brought me here at 6 p.m. yesterday. 3 hospitals are completely offline. Patient records, medication dispensing, emergency systems, everything's down. I'm tracing intrusion patterns through 20-year-old healthcare mainframes that your new team of recent graduates told me were legacy junk last month. I assume you'll want to send someone else to complete the work since I'm no longer a Secure Health employee. More silence. I could hear him breathing. Probably trying to figure out how to explain to the board why he'd just fired the company's only expert in legacy healthcare systems during the biggest medical crisis the city had seen in years. Roger, let's discuss this after you've resolved the situation. I don't think that's appropriate. You just terminated my employment. I shouldn't be working on Secure Health projects if I don't work here anymore. I'll brief Rachel on what I've discovered and catch the next train home. Or actually, not to the office, since you mentioned something about not needing my services anymore. Wait, Roger, let me call you back. He hung up before I could respond. Before I explain what happened over the next 72 hours, let me tell you who I am and why that phone call was the most expensive mistake Bryce Coleman ever made. I joined Secure Health Systems in 1999 as a network security engineer specializing in legacy medical systems. Back then, hospitals were just starting to realize their old computer systems weren't going anywhere, and Y2K had scared everyone into actually caring about their infrastructure. Secure Health provided cybersecurity consulting for hospitals, medical centers, and health insurance companies that still ran critical operations on mainframe computers built in the 1980s and 1990s. My job was troubleshooting complex security breaches in systems that younger engineers didn't understand and couldn't fix. When a hospital got hacked and their IT department couldn't trace the intrusion, they called Secure Health. Secure Health sent me. Over 25 years, I'd responded to 340 security emergencies across 15 states. I'd traced ransomware attacks, diagnosed privilege escalation exploits, identified zero-day vulnerabilities, and stopped data theft attempts that could have exposed millions of patient records. I'd worked through hurricanes, holidays, and family emergencies. I missed my son Jason's college graduation to fix a breach at a children's hospital in Baltimore. I spent my 45th birthday in a server room in Chicago debugging legacy code while Susan was home alone getting her first cancer diagnosis. That was the old way of doing business. When you gave a company your word, you kept it. When they had a crisis, you showed up. Loyalty was supposed to be a two-way street, but over the past 18 months, things had changed at Secure Health. Bryce Coleman had been promoted from junior developer to department head, bringing with him what he called a fresh perspective on legacy system management. His perspective mainly involved hiring recent computer science graduates who could think outside the box and weren't trapped by outdated methodologies. Last month, he'd assigned 3 of these new hires to shadow me on a routine security audit. Their feedback report, which somehow made it to my desk, described my approach as overly cautious, unnecessarily complex, and resistant to modern automation tools. They recommended that future security work focus on streamlined solutions rather than time-intensive legacy analysis. What they didn't understand was that in healthcare cybersecurity, one mistake could mean a diabetic patient couldn't access their insulin prescription, or an emergency room couldn't pull up critical allergy information during a heart attack. You couldn't automate institutional knowledge that had been built over 25 years of preventing medical disasters. Most importantly, I'd developed deep expertise in legacy healthcare protocols that most of the medical industry still runs on, but nobody teaches anymore. Every major hospital had unique implementations. Every system had custom modifications. Every security model had quirks that existed only in my experience-based understanding of how those systems behaved under attack. That knowledge was what made me valuable. That knowledge was also what Bryce Coleman had just eliminated from Secure Health's crisis response capability at the worst possible moment. The current crisis had started 31 hours earlier. Memorial Hospital, St. Mary's Medical Center, and Metropolitan Health had all called Secure Health's emergency hotline within 90 minutes of each other, reporting sophisticated intrusion attempts targeting their patient management systems. All 3 hospitals used similar legacy mainframe architectures. All 3 were experiencing identical attack patterns. This was the kind of coordinated attack that kept healthcare security professionals awake at night. Someone with serious resources and deep technical knowledge was systematically probing the backbone of the city's medical infrastructure. And they were doing it during flu season when hospitals were already operating at capacity. Secure Health's standard protocol was remote diagnostics first. I spent 6 hours on secure video calls with each hospital's security teams, walking them through trace procedures and reviewing intrusion logs. By midnight Thursday, I determined this wasn't something that could be resolved remotely. The attack pattern suggested someone with deep knowledge of legacy healthcare protocols was systematically probing for vulnerabilities in 20-year-old code that most people assumed was too obsolete to be worth attacking. They were wrong. Old code isn't automatically secure code. It's just code that nobody remembers how to fix when it breaks. Bryce had suggested sending his new team to handle it remotely. Roger, we need to start trusting our newer methodologies. These guys have fresh eyes on legacy problems. They're not constrained by the way things have always been done. I'd tried to explain that this particular vulnerability required hands-on mainframe access and institutional knowledge of custom healthcare implementations from the late 1990s. His response was that I was being resistant to innovation and needed to embrace collaborative problem-solving with the next generation. The next generation lasted about 3 hours before calling me at 2 a.m. Thursday, admitting they couldn't trace the intrusion patterns and asking if I could maybe take a quick look at the logs they'd been analyzing. I took the train into the city Friday morning, arriving at Memorial at 7 a.m. Rachel Torres met me at the security entrance. She looked like she hadn't slept in 2 days, which she probably hadn't. Mr. Mitchell, thank you for coming. We've been locked down for 24 hours. State health regulators are demanding explanations for why we can't secure our own systems. The media is starting to ask questions about patient safety. Because this attack pattern targets vulnerabilities that require hands-on mainframe access to properly trace, I need to examine the patient data transaction logs directly. She led me to the secure data center. 2 floors of humming mainframe computers, each one processing thousands of medical transactions per minute when they weren't locked down due to security breaches. All silent now, all offline, all preventing sick people from getting the care they needed. This was the kind of place that reminded me why I got into this business. These weren't just computers. They were the lifeline for thousands of people. Every prescription, every lab result, every emergency room visit, it all flowed through systems like these. And when they went down, real people suffered. The financial impact was staggering too. Rachel showed me the preliminary damage assessment. $400,000 per day in delayed procedures, canceled surgeries, and regulatory compliance violations. Multiply that across 3 hospitals, and the city was looking at over $1.2 million in daily losses until these systems came back online. But the human cost was what really got to me. The ICU couldn't access patient medication histories. The pharmacy couldn't verify drug interactions. The emergency department was running on paper charts and best guesses. In Susan's oncology ward, chemotherapy protocols were being delayed because the system couldn't verify dosage calculations against patient weight and kidney function. I spent the next 10 hours tracing the attack through system logs, identifying the exact protocols the hackers were targeting, and mapping their intrusion methodology. This wasn't some amateur trying to steal credit card numbers. This was sophisticated, methodical, and expensive. Someone had invested serious money in understanding exactly how these old systems worked and where their weak points were. By 4 p.m., I'd moved to St. Mary's, then Metropolitan Health, finding identical attack patterns across all three institutions. The hackers weren't just hitting random hospitals. They were specifically targeting institutions that still used the legacy protocols I'd helped design back in the late 1990s. What made this particularly insidious was the timing. The attacks had been scheduled to coincide with peak patient volume. Flu season meant emergency rooms were packed, elective surgeries were backlogged, cancer treatment schedules were already tight. The hackers knew exactly when to hit these systems for maximum disruption. By 10 p.m. Friday, I'd isolated the vulnerability. The hackers were exploiting a buffer overflow in legacy code that handled patient medication authorization. The vulnerability existed in custom healthcare software that Secure Health had helped implement in 2001. I was part of the original development team. I was one of only 2 people in the country who understood how that authorization code worked. The other person was Alan Parker, and he was currently in Denver managing a federal contract that wouldn't wrap up for another 12 days. It's funny how technology works. We built these systems to last forever, and they did. But forever in computer terms means dealing with problems nobody anticipated 23 years later. The code we wrote in 2001 was rock solid for its time. We never imagined that hackers in 2024 would have the computing power and patience to probe for buffer overflows in healthcare subroutines that processed maybe 1,000 transactions per day back then, but now handled 50,000. Fixing it required patching 23-year-old modules, updating mainframe security protocols, and implementing new validation routines that would prevent similar attacks without breaking the hospital's existing patient care systems. This wasn't like updating your phone. You couldn't just download a patch and restart. Every change had to be tested and validated with surgical precision. One mistake, and you could freeze the entire medical system for days. I estimated 14 to 18 hours of careful programming work across all 3 institutions. It was the kind of work that required not just technical knowledge, but institutional memory. You had to understand not just how the code worked, but why it was written that way, what assumptions the original programmers made, and how those assumptions had changed over 2 decades. I started at 10:30 p.m. Friday night, diving into the mainframe systems at Memorial. The familiar green text on black screens brought back memories of late nights in the early 2000s, when we'd built these systems thinking they'd last maybe 10 years. Instead, they'd become the backbone of American healthcare. Susan had texted me around 10 p.m. "How's it going? Don't forget, I have pre-admission blood work at 8 a.m. Monday for Tuesday's chemo." The timing was perfect. If I could get these systems restored by Sunday, her treatment could proceed as scheduled. If not, we'd be looking at another delay. And her oncologist had been clear that delays could affect treatment effectiveness. By 11:30 p.m., I was halfway through updating the first set of modules when my phone rang. Bryce Coleman, calling at nearly midnight on a Friday. After he delivered the termination news and hung up, Rachel approached me cautiously. You could see the panic starting to set in as she processed what she'd just overheard. "Mr. Mitchell, is everything all right? I just got terminated by my employer while securing your hospital systems." Her expression went from concern to horrified. In her world, hospitals didn't just close for the weekend. Every hour these systems stayed down was costing lives and liability her institution couldn't afford. Terminated? "But you're the only person who understands our legacy protocols. What happens to our systems?" "That's an excellent question. Secure Health will need to send someone else to complete the work." "How long will that take?" The other engineer who understands these protocols is Alan Parker. He's in Denver managing a federal contract. Secure Health might have to wait until he becomes available. "How long?" "Alan's federal engagement is scheduled for another 12 days, plus travel time." Rachel's face went white. I could see her doing the math. We were talking about patient safety, regulatory violations, massive liability issues, and the fact that Monday morning would bring hundreds of patients expecting treatment at a hospital whose computer systems were completely offline. We can't wait 12 days. Every day offline puts patients at risk and costs us $400,000 in delayed procedures plus federal compliance penalties. That's nearly $5 million in losses if we wait for your colleague. Then I suggest you contact Secure Health Corporate and explain the urgency. I started packing up my equipment. Rachel watched in growing desperation as I disconnected my diagnostic tools and closed my laptop. For 25 years, I'd been the guy who stayed until the problem was fixed, regardless of personal cost. But something had changed in that phone call. Maybe it was the casual way Bryce had dismissed me while I was literally saving lives. Maybe it was the realization that my loyalty had been one-sided for years. Or maybe it was thinking about Susan's treatment schedule and how I was about to lose the insurance coverage that would pay for her $180,000 cancer treatment. At 1:15 a.m., my phone rang again. This time it was Stephen Walsh, Secure Health's chief operating officer. Stephen had been with the company for 16 years and understood exactly how critical my role was to medical crisis management. He'd also probably been woken up by a very panicked call from Bryce. "Roger, I just got off the phone with Bryce. There's been a misunderstanding about your employment status. We need you to complete the hospital engagement before we discuss any personnel matters." "Stephen," Bryce was very clear. He said my employment was terminated effective immediately. "That's not a misunderstanding. That's termination." I could hear the desperation creeping into his voice. Stephen understood the implications in a way that Bryce obviously didn't. This wasn't just about one disgruntled employee. This was about Secure Health's entire reputation in the healthcare industry, and quite possibly about people dying if these systems stayed down. I understand this is confusing, but let's focus on resolving the medical crisis first. We can address your employment situation after you've secured the systems. "I don't think that's appropriate. If I'm terminated, I shouldn't be working on Secure Health projects. If I'm not terminated, then Bryce needs to call me back and clarify that he made an error. This is a critical client situation. These hospitals are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour. Patients can't get their medications. People could die. Then you need to clarify my employment status first. Am I a Secure Health employee or not?" Long pause. I could hear Stephen thinking through the implications. If he said I was still employed, he'd be contradicting Bryce's termination and creating internal political problems. If he said I was terminated, he'd be admitting that Secure Health had just eliminated their crisis response capability in the middle of their most expensive emergency. "Roger, let me conference in Bryce so we can resolve this together." "I'd rather you didn't." Bryce was clear about his decision. "I'm respecting that decision by no longer working on Secure Health projects. If the hospitals need assistance, they should contact Secure Health's emergency response line and request another engineer. There is no other engineer available who understands these legacy systems." That's an unfortunate situation, but it's not my problem anymore since I'm no longer a Secure Health employee. I ended the call. Rachel was standing nearby, having heard my side of the conversation. The weight of the situation was settling on her shoulders like a lead blanket. "What should we do, Mr. Mitchell?" "You should contact Secure Health and request emergency engineering support. Explain the urgency of the situation. But you're here now. You understand our systems. You were in the middle of fixing the vulnerability. Can't you just complete the work?" I thought about that carefully. In the old days, you'd finish the job regardless of company politics because it was the right thing to do. But I'd learned something important over 25 years in corporate America. Loyalty has to go both ways. Also, Susan's medical bills were mounting. Her insurance was tied to my employment. We had maybe 48 hours before coverage lapsed, and her Monday morning blood work would be the first casualty. "I was fired 3 hours ago. I can't ethically continue working on a project for a company that just terminated my employment. What if we hired you directly? Not through Secure Health, but as an independent consultant working for Memorial Hospital." Now that was interesting. I'd never considered going independent, but at 47, maybe it was time to think about options beyond the corporate ladder. Susan had been telling me for years that I was too valuable to let one company control our future. She'd grown up watching her father work 30 years for a manufacturing company, only to get laid off 6 months before retirement. That would create contractual complications. Your hospitals have security agreements with Secure Health. Those agreements probably have exclusivity provisions. I'll check our contracts. She called Memorial's legal department, had a quick conversation involving urgent whispers, then looked at me with cautious optimism. Our legal team says the security agreement has exclusivity provisions for routine maintenance, but emergency patches can be conducted by any qualified consultant if Secure Health cannot provide timely support. They're defining timely support as within 24 hours of request. Have the hospitals formally requested emergency support from Secure Health? She sent an email to Secure Health's emergency response team, copying me, formally requesting immediate engineering support for the medical security breach and noting that their previous engineer was no longer available to complete the work. She marked it urgent and requested response within 6 hours. At 3:20 a.m., we received a response that told us everything we needed to know. We acknowledge your request for emergency engineering support. Our senior security architects are currently committed to other client emergencies. We are working to identify available resources and will provide an estimated response timeline within 18 hours. In corporate speak, that meant they had no idea how to solve this problem without me. Bryce was probably spending his Saturday morning calling every contractor and consultant he could find, trying to locate someone who understood legacy healthcare protocols well enough to not make the crisis worse. What does this mean? Rachel asked. It means Secure Health doesn't have anyone available to send. Alan is in Denver and apparently nobody else has the expertise to handle these vulnerabilities. So we wait, unless you want to exercise the contract provision and hire an independent consultant. Are you available as an independent consultant? This was the moment. At 47, after 25 years of corporate life, I was being offered the chance to work for myself, to set my own rates, choose my own projects, and never again have to worry about some young manager deciding my expertise was outdated. I could be. What would your rate structure look like? Independent consulting rates for emergency cybersecurity work typically range from $300 to $700 per hour depending on expertise level and urgency. I was at the top of the expertise scale, this was definitely urgent, and I was literally the only person available who could solve this problem. $500 per hour for emergency security work. Minimum 20-hour engagement to ensure complete vulnerability patching and system validation. That's $10,000 total. Payment terms: 50% deposit before I resume work, remaining 50% upon successful system restoration. Rachel didn't even blink. When your hospital can't treat patients and faces federal penalties that could reach millions, $10,000 starts looking like a bargain. Done. I'll have our CFO process the deposit immediately. At 4:30 a.m. Saturday morning, my phone chimed with a bank transfer notification. $5,000 had just cleared into my personal checking account, more money than I'd ever received for a single day's work in my entire career. At 4:45 a.m., I resumed work on the security patches, but now I was working for myself. The funny thing about doing the same work as an independent consultant instead of a corporate employee is how different it feels. Every line of code I wrote was billable. Every problem I solved was building my reputation instead of someone else's company. By 2 p.m. Saturday, I'd completed the vulnerability fixes across all 3 hospital systems. By 6 p.m., all 3 hospitals were back online with no security vulnerabilities and no patient care disruptions. Total lockdown time, 38 hours. The systems were secure, and the patches I'd implemented would prevent similar attacks in the future. More importantly, Susan's Monday morning blood work could proceed as scheduled. Her chemotherapy treatment was back on track. At 10:30 p.m. Saturday night, I received a call from Stephen Walsh. I was back home, exhausted but satisfied with the weekend's work. Roger, I understand you completed the hospital security work as an independent consultant. We need to discuss your employment status. Bryce's decision was premature. We'd like to offer you reinstatement with full back pay. I appreciate that, but I'm declining. I'm now operating as an independent consultant. What does that mean for Secure Health? You're our most experienced healthcare systems expert. It means Secure Health will need to develop other engineers with similar expertise or accept that your crisis response capability is significantly reduced. When I told Susan what had happened, she just smiled. Finally, I was wondering how long it would take you to figure out what I've been telling you for 15 years. Which is what? That you were too good for them. Now you get to prove it. Over the next 6 weeks, I received 14 emergency calls from hospitals experiencing security crises. Each call followed the same pattern. Sophisticated attack on legacy systems. Secure Health couldn't respond quickly enough. Could I help as an independent consultant? I helped all 14 clients. Total consulting revenue, $168,000 for 6 weeks of work. That was more than I'd made in the previous 18 months at Secure Health. Word spreads fast in the healthcare security industry. By September, I was receiving calls from hospitals that wanted to prevent emergencies by having someone who understood their legacy systems before problems occurred. By December, I had 9 long-term consulting contracts with medical centers who wanted guaranteed access to my expertise. Combined retainer revenue, $12,000 monthly, plus additional project fees. Bryce Coleman lasted until March. The board terminated him after calculating that his decision to fire me during the hospital crisis had cost Secure Health approximately $890,000 in lost contracts, emergency recovery costs, and consulting fees they were now paying me instead of employing me directly. I stayed independent. By late 2024, I was managing 11 consulting relationships with healthcare institutions across the region. Annual revenue was approaching $420,000. More importantly, Susan's medical bills were completely covered. Her cancer treatment was successful, and we started planning that trip to Ireland we'd been putting off for 20 years. Here's what I learned. The most dangerous employee to fire isn't the one who complains about salary. It's the one who's literally saving lives when you decide they're expendable. At 47, I thought my best years were behind me. Instead, they were just getting started. Your expertise isn't expensive until someone else has to pay market rate for it. And sometimes the market values what you know far more than your employer ever did. The biggest mistake companies make isn't firing the wrong person. It's firing the right person at exactly the moment they prove how irreplaceable they really are.